everyone. With immense pleasure and great respect, I extend a warm welcome to our distinguished dignitaries, Additional Principal Dr. Deepak Rai Singhani Sir, Convener DCR Dr. Anshuman Sir, all the heads of the department, faculty members, postgraduate students present here today for the 49th Dental Combined Round on the topic Maximizing Retention and Support, a case series on tooth-supported and implant-supported overdentures presented by the Department of Prosthodontics and Crown and Bridge. Prosthodontics is one of the most versatile and dynamic specialty in dentistry, offering a wide spectrum of treatment options from simple removable prosthesis to complex implant-supported rehabilitations. One such treatment modality is the overdenture. In this dental combined round, we are presenting three cases of overdentures. To provide a comprehensive understanding of the topic, the theoretical concepts are discussed. Thus, we have 5 presenters presenting this DCR. With this, I would now like to invite our presenter, Dr. Khushbu Meena, third year postgraduate student, to kindly come forward and take us through today's presentation. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. To start with the introduction, dentistry continues to evolve with innovations aimed at enhancing patient comfort and satisfaction. With the advancement of restorative and implant dentistry, overdentures have become an important treatment option for partially as well as completely edentulous patients. They offer significant advantages in terms of retention, stability, support, and preservation of the remaining oral structure. So, according to Glossary of Prosthodontic Terms 10, an overdenture is a dental prosthesis that covers the natural tooth and or is partially supported by natural teeth, natural tooth roots, or dental implants. Overdentures are basically divided into 2 parts. First, tooth-supported overdenture. Second, we have implant-supported overdenture. So, to begin with the tooth-supported overdenture, tooth-supported overdenture basically have 3 components. First, we have non-coping abutment. Second, we have abutment with coping, which include short coping, and then we have long coping. Then, with abutment with attachments, we have 3 attachments: stud attachment, bar attachment, and magnet attachments. Types of tooth-supported overdenture. First, we have non-coping abutments. In this, selected root abutments are reduced to a coronal height of 2 to 3 mm and then contoured to a convex or dome-shaped surface. Second, abutment with coping, in which cast metal coping with a dome-shaped surface and a chamfer finish line at the gingival margins are fabricated and cemented. Then we have abutment with attachment, in which most attachments are secured to the abutment by a cast coping. Indications for tooth-supported overdentures are patient with few remaining natural teeth, typically 4 or fewer attainable sound teeth in one arch. Patient with congenital deformities, especially in cleft palate cases. Patient with resorbed ridge where denture retention is difficult to obtain. Patient with xerostomia and silaria where denture retention becomes difficult. Then we have relative contraindication, like high index caries in grade 3 mobility, where there is reduced interarch space is present, where poor prognosis of abutment teeth are present, where absence of sufficient attached gingiva is present, and overdentures are not given in a long-term use against the natural teeth. Then, abutment with attachments. It is a key component that enhances the performance of these prostheses is the use of the attachments, which are mechanical devices designed to improve retention, stability, and fixation of the denture base. Attachments are typically incorporated into the abutment teeth through a cast coping or directly into a reduced tooth structure. So most commonly we have stud attachments, which are most commonly used in the tooth-supported overdenture. It is the simplest of all the attachments. It basically consists of 2 parts. First, the stud and the male component, which is usually attached to a metal coping cemented over the prepared abutment. Then we have housing, which is also known as female component, embedded in the fitting surface of the overdenture. We have 4 types of stud attachments. First, we have ball attachment, then we have locator attachment, then O-ring attachment, and then we have extra coronal resilient attachments. So, to begin with our case series presentation, I would like to call upon Dr. Rishika to proceed with our first case presentation. Thank you.
Coming to the first case presentation, tooth-supported overdenture with short copings. Patient by the name Badri Prasad Sharma, 64 years old, male patient, residing in Jawaharnagar, yoga teacher by profession, reported to the department. His personality was noticed to be class 1, that is philosophical. So, House categorizes the patients according to the psychological attitude and behavior towards the denture treatment. Class 1 is philosophical, that is the patient was calm, rational, cooperative, he understood the limitations of denture and followed the instructions well. Class 2 personality is exacting, class 3 is hysterical, and class 4 is indifferent. The 64-year-old male patient reported to the department with the chief complaint of loose removable partial denture in the lower jaw and loose and decayed teeth in the lower front teeth region, associated with difficulty in chewing. The history of present illness was that the patient reported difficulty in mastication, mobility of teeth in the mandibular anterior region. The patient had noticed gradual onset and progressive increase of mobility of the mandibular anterior teeth over a period of time. The patient also gave history of retained root stumps in respect to 3-5 and 4-4 region. There was no relevant medical history in the patient. Patient's past dental history was that patient had previously undergone dental extractions under local anesthesia and has been wearing a complete denture in respect to maxilla and removable partial denture in respect to mandible for the past 6 to 7 years. There were no relevant habits like tobacco chewing, smoking or alcohol consumption and parafunctional habits in the patient. Coming to the general physical examination, the patient was average build, well nourished. The height of the patient was 165 centimeters, his weight was 65 kgs, his blood pressure at that time was 130/80 mmHg and his pulse rate was 72 beats per minute. Coming to the extraoral examination of the patient's facial form was square, the patient's profile was straight, cheek support was adequate, muscle tone was slightly decreased, his lip support was decreased, chin was prominent and vertical dimension was reduced. These findings are crucial in complete denture fabrication as they help assess the jaw relationship, determine the lip support, guide the anterior teeth arrangement to achieve optimal facial aesthetics and function. Coming to the intraoral examination, the patient was completely edentulous in respect to maxilla. The ridge form was well rounded, that is Edwards order 3. Edwards classifies residual ridges into 6 orders. Order 1 is dentate or pre-extraction ridge. Order 2 is immediate post-extraction ridge. Order 3 is high well-rounded ridge. Order 4 is knife-edge ridge. Order 5 is low well-rounded ridge. And order 6 is depressed ridge. The arch form was ovoid. Patient was partially edentulous in respect to 3-1, 3-2, 3-6, 3-7, 4-6 and 4-7. There were root stumps in respect to 3-5 and 4-4. There was generalized gingival recession and calculus deposits present in the remaining mandibular teeth. There was grade 3 mobility in respect to 4-1 and 4-2, grade 2 mobility in respect to 3-4 and grade 1 mobility in respect to 3-3 and 4-3. The mucosa of the patient was pale pink and healthy. The lateral throat form of the patient was class 2, that is Neal's classification. So the lateral throat form is the contour of tissues in the retromylohyoid, that is the distolingual region of the mandible. It is one of the most important factors affecting the retention and stability of mandibular complete denture because it determines the depth of the distolingual flange. So the lateral throat form can be classified into 3 categories. Class 1, that is deep lateral throat form, which is good for complete denture fabrication. Class 2 is moderate lateral throat form and Class 3 is shallow lateral throat form. Further, the patient's tongue size was Class 2 that, according to House classification, in which House classifies the tongue size into Class 1, that is normal. Class 2 is teeth have been absent for a long enough time to permit a change in the form and function of the tongue. And Class 3 is the excessively large tongue. The palatal sensitivity of the patient was Class 1, that is normal. Coming to the radiographic examination, it revealed generalized periodontal bone loss with a failing mandibular dentition. Mandibular incisors demonstrated advanced bone loss and poor prognosis, while retained root stumps were present in respect to 3, 5 and 4, 4. Both mandibular canines exhibited comparatively favorable root length, periodontal support, and absence of any significant periapital pathology. Therefore, 3-3 and 4-3 can be considered for overdenture abutments owing to their strategic position, long roots, superior biomechanical prognosis. Coming to the close-up view of the third quadrant, there is root stumps with periapital pathology in respect to 3-5, and 3-4 and 3-3 show adequate periodontal support. In the fourth quadrant, there was evidence of advanced periodontal disease in 4-1 and 4-2 region. There is adequate periodontal support in respect to 4-3. There is root stumps in respect to 4-4 and 4-5 was cross-indicated. Coming to the diagnosis, so the patient is completely edentulous in respect to maxillary arch, well-rounded ridge is present, that is Edwards order 3, partially edentulous in respect to mandible, grade 3 mobility in respect to 4-1 and 4-2, grade 2 mobility in respect to 3-4 with advanced localized periodontitis. That is, these teeth have poor prognosis, and there was grade 1 mobility in respect to 3-3 and 4-3 with adequate periodontal support, which indicates favorable prognosis as potential overdenture abutments. So based on these findings, what can be the possible treatment plans?
Extraction followed by implant supported overdenture or extraction followed by complete denture removal.
So both can be treatment options. Coming to the treatment options, treatment plan 1 was complete extraction in respect to mandibular arch followed by complete denture in respect to maxilla and mandible. Treatment plan 2 could be retained abutments, that is in respect to 3-3 and 4-3 followed by complete denture in respect to maxilla and tooth supported overdenture in respect to mandible. Complete extraction in respect to mandibular arch followed by complete denture in respect to maxilla and implant supported overdenture in respect to mandible. Treatment plan 4 could be complete extraction in respect to mandibular arch followed by complete denture in respect to maxilla and implant supported fixed prosthesis in respect to mandible. So here it needs to be noted that there could be any number of possibilities for treatment options in maxilla and mandibular arches, but for the purpose of today's presentation, we are focused on the treatment options for the mandible only. When the patient came to the department, treatment plan 1 was in his mind, but we consider treatment plan 2 as well because of the added benefit of proprioception and bone preservation. So after patient counseling and education was done, patient was convinced for treatment plan 2. Therefore, the complete conventional dentures for maxilla and mandible were excluded. Treatment plan 3 and treatment plan 4 were excluded because of their invasive nature and added cost for treatment options. Coming to the finalized treatment plan, complete extraction of mandibular teeth except for 4-3 and 3-3, which are selected as abutment teeth. Intentional endodontic treatment of the abutment teeth, that is 4-3 and 3-3, followed by tooth preparation for appropriate attachment, followed by complete denture fabrication in respect to maxilla and tooth supported overdenture in respect to mandible. So after deciding the treatment plan, the patient returned to the department after extractions and intentional endodontic treatment in this condition. We started by recording the primary impressions in the conventional manner and diagnostic mounting was done. This diagnostic mounting was done to evaluate the space available. The space available in this case was 8 mm. The minimum space required for any overdenture treatment is 7 to 8 mm. For locator system, we require 8.5 mm space. For a bar attachment, we require 13 to 14 mm space, and for short copings, we require 4 to 7 mm space, and for long copings, we require more than 8 mm of space. So after evaluating all the features and the condition of the patient, it was decided that we will go for the short coping option. For the short coping option, the dome-shaped preparation with chamfer finish line was done, ensuring rounded contours and parallel path of insertion. Post-paste preparation was done for the short coping with a post by removing gutta-percha from the canal and leaving 4 to 5 mm of gutta-percha at the apical level, followed by impression of the prepared tooth and the post space using an orthodontic wire and flowing light body into the canal using simultaneous putty wash impression technique with addition silicone material. Now short copings were fabricated. These short copings were fabricated by fabricating a wax pattern on the model and further casting the short copings. These are the post-cementation intraoral pictures and radiograph of the short copings in post. After which final impression was recorded in the conventional manner and jaw relation was recorded. Further trying of the wax subdentures was done. Aesthetics, phonetics, vertical dimension, centric relation, occlusion and patient comfort and satisfaction were evaluated. After which fabrication and pickup of telescopic copings were done. So this was done by recording the impression of cemented short copings, fabricating a wax pattern, followed by casting of telescopic copings and pickup of telescopic copings using autopolymerizing acrylic resin. Denture insertion was performed with all the final adjustments and finishing and polishing. These are the patient's pre-treatment and post-treatment pictures. Now, for added retention, one can use attachments as well. So, I call upon Dr. Sanya for the presentation of a case with attachments.
Good afternoon everyone. I will be presenting the case for tooth-supported overdenture with custom-made ball and socket attachments. Patient named Ramsai Sharma, aged 41 years male, resides in Bharatpur, Rajasthan, and by occupation is a truck driver and personality is class 1, that is philosophical. Reported to the Department of Prosthodontics with the chief complaint of a missing teeth in upper back, tooth region and mobility for the remaining teeth in upper and lower front region and lower back tooth region since 2 to 3 years. On examination for the history of present illness, patient reported difficulty in mastication due to mobility of the present teeth in lower posterior region and missing teeth in upper posterior region. The patient noticed gradual and progressive mobility for mandibular posterior and maxillary anterior teeth, and there was no associated history of pain and swelling was reported by the patient. On the examination, past history revealed for the medical history, patient was a known case for type 2 diabetes mellitus, currently managed on metformin hydrochloride, that is 500 mg twice daily for the past 4 years, and in current situation, diabetes was reported to be controlled. For the dental history, patient underwent for multiple extractions and coronal prosthesis in anterior region since 2 years. On examination for the habits, there was no relevant history of tobacco chewing, smoking, alcohol consumption and parafunction habits. Coming to the general physical examination, patient was averagely built, well nourished. Patient height was 177 centimeters, weight by 74 kgs, blood pressure was normal, that is 128 by 84 mmHg, and pulse rate was also normal, that is 72 beats per minute. For the extraoral examination, facial form for the patient was squarish, facial profile was concave, with cheek support was adequate and fair, muscle tone was slightly decreased, lips were thin with reduced tonicity, lip support was mildly decreased, chin was prominent, and vertical height was maintained as mandibular posterior teeth was present. For the intraoral examination, as it is well appreciated, the partially edentulous maxillary arch with U and V arch form. The anterior teeth present in the maxillary arch is the grade 3 mobility. An existing FPD
prosthesis noted in anterior region. Remaining teeth with plaque and calculus and resort posterior edentulous ridge is seen in maxillary arch. Soft tissues were firm and resilient. Coming to the mandibular arch, partially edentulous mandibular arch with squarish arch form, existing FPD noted in the anterior region, compromised abutments present in the posterior teeth region, and remaining teeth with the plaque and calculus. The remaining teeth were present with the grade 3 mobility except 4-4 and 3-4. Soft tissues were soft, firm and resilient. For further intraoral examination, the tongue size was normal according to House class 1. Lateral throat form was class 1 according to Niels. Palatal sensitivity was normal according to House class 1. Ridge form for maxilla is high well rounded according to Atwood order 3rd, and mandible was also high well rounded. The pre-operative OPG for the patient, on the gross screening of the OPG having the failed dentition where the advanced mixed periodontitis is observed, compromising horizontal and vertical bone loss defects in the area of the anterior mandibular region. It is seen that there is a missing 3-1, 4-1 and 4-2 with loss of bone in 3-2 region and no adequate root form and length in 3-3 and 4-3 regions. And there is appreciated PDL winding in the 4-3 region. So therefore, the 3-4 and 4-4 were selected as an overdental abutments because they demonstrate adequate root length, satisfactory periodontal support, favorable root morphology, absence of any significant pathology, and provide a strategical advantages bilateral distribution for support and retention for the planning of the prosthesis. On the basis of the clinical and radiographic examination, the final diagnosis was that partially edentulous maxillary arch with high well rounded, partially edentulous mandibular arch which was high well rounded, failing and neglected dentition showing advanced periodontitis diseases, and severe bone loss. Root stump in respect to 4-5 and present with the periapical pathology. As it was discussed in previous case by Dr. Rishika, all the treatment modalities was discussed with the patient and told about the cost and pros and cons for each treatment plans, from which the patient chose the treatment for the tooth supported overdenture as the conservative rehabilitation with the strategic planning and treatment planning done by the clinician and the cost management for the patient. So the treatment plan was complete extraction in respect to maxillary arch as it has a poor prognosis for the teeth present, and for the mandibular teeth also it was a complete extraction except the 4-4 and the 3-4 region, followed by the tooth preparation and custom wall attachment fabrication, followed by the overdenture fabrication. Then the patient was reported to the Department of Endodontics for the intentional endodontic treatment for the abutment selected, that is 4-4 and 3-4. And after the extraction and endodontic treatment, the patient reported again to the Department of Prosthodontics with this condition. Then the patient was followed for the prosthesis by making maxillary and mandibular primary impressions, and diagnostic mounting was done. The diagnostic mounting was done for the interarch space verification and the space availability. It was 15 mm in this case, and it is suitable for the stud type of attachment. Therefore, the ball and socket attachment was finalized for this patient, as vertical space available was very much favorable for crown and root ratio, and the teeth suitable for intentional root canal treatment, and improved retention and stability could be there for the patient's benefit. Then the dome-shaped tooth preparation done with the shampoo finish line to receive the metal coping, and it was ensured with rounded contours and parallelism was checked for the path of insertion. Then the conventional border molding and final impression was made for both the arches. Then in previous case, as it was discussed by Dr. Rishika, the same faceboard transfer, diagnostic with jaw relation and faceboard transfer it was done, and the trial of the denture was made intraorally for the patient for evaluation of aesthetics, phonetics, occlusion, vertical dimension and centric relation, patient satisfaction and comfortability. Then followed by the for wax pattern fabrication, it was a pre-formed Attachments were available in the department by company Rain 83 Attachments, as we can appreciate here in the green colored. It was placed onto the coping that was prepared by the wax fabrication, and the parallelism was ensured with a device called parallelometer or surveyor, and then casting and polishing was done, and it was cemented in the patient's mouth. Then positioning of the female component or the metal housing was done to the O-rings with the help of an O-ring attacher tool, and separating sheets were placed in between the abutment teeth and the denture intaglio surface to prevent the flow of excess autopolymerizing resin, which was used for the chair side pickup procedure. And with the help of an autopolymerizing resin, the chair side direct technique procedure was made in patient's mouth. Then the insertion for the overdenture was done. Check for the retention, stability and occlusal adjustments were done in patient's mouth, and patient satisfaction was there. These are the profile pictures before the treatment and post treatment. Thank you so much. I would also call up Dr. Shweta for further case presentation.
Good afternoon everyone. Now coming to implant supported overdentures. Implant supported overdentures are indicated in patients having poor retention and stability of conventional complete dentures, in patients having moderate to severe ridge resorption, in patients needing improved chewing efficiency, speech and patient comfort. Also required in cases which require lip and facial support, patients unsuitable for fixed implant prosthesis because of limited bone and financial constraints. Traditionally, complete maxillary and mandibular dentures have been the standard of care for edentulous patients. Complete denture wearers are usually able to wear upper denture without any problem, but many struggle to eat with the lower denture as it is too mobile because of the less denture bearing area available in mandible as compared to maxilla. So, according to the McGill consensus statement, which was given in year 2002 at McGill University, Canada, completely edentulous patients should receive maxillary complete denture and 2 implant retained mandibular overdenture instead of a removable complete denture. Therefore, in our department, 2 implant retained mandibular overdenture with a maxillary removable complete denture is a first choice of treatment for completely edentulous patients. Now, I would like to ask audience, how many implants are needed for mandibular overdentures?
Two to 5 implants can be placed in mandible.
Yes, you are right. For mandibular overdenture, we have 5 treatment options available. In which 2 to 5 implants are placed in between the interforaminal region and the positions are marked from A to E. A and E positions are marked 4 mm anterior to the mental foramen. Position C is in the midline. Position B is between position A and C, and position D is in between C and E. So depending upon the position and number of implants, mandibular overdenture can be classified into 5 different treatment options from OD1 to OD5. In OD1, 2 implants are placed at B and D positions. In OD2 option, 2 implants are again placed at the B and D position, but they are splinted together with the help of a bar. In OD3A option, 3 implants are placed at A, C and E position, splinted together with the help of a bar. In OD3B, again 3 implants are placed at B, C and D position, which are splinted together. In OD4 options, 4 implants are placed in interforaminal region at A, B, D and E positions, and a bar can be cantilevered to about 10 mm posteriorly. In OD5 treatment options, 5 implants are placed at all the positions from A to E, and all the implants are splinted together with the help of a bar, which is cantilevered to about 15 mm posteriorly. Mandibular overdenture with one single implant placed at the midline can also be given. According to a study conducted by Almoshi et al., he found that patient satisfaction with a single implant is better than a conventional complete denture. So the answer is minimum of 1 to maximum of 5 implants can be used for mandibular overdentures. So for connecting the denture to the implants, stud or bar type of attachments can be used. Stud attachments are independently attached to the implants without joining the implants together. In stud attachment, we have locator attachment, which requires 8 to 10 mm of the inter-arch space. Second is the ball and o-ring attachments. In ball and o-ring attachment, ball abutment is screwed onto the implant fixture, and o-ring along with its metal housing is incorporated into the interior surface of the overdenture. It requires about 10 to 12 mm of the inter-arch space, and an implant divergence of about 10 degrees is tolerated by the o-ring attachments. They are the most commonly used resilient attachments. Third is the equator attachment, which requires 7 to 8 mm of the inter-arch space. And fourth is the magnetic attachment, which requires 8 to 10 mm of the inter-arch space. The second type of attachments are the bar and clip attachments, which requires 12 to 14 mm of the inter-arch space. Angular deviation of implants is not a problem in this case because bar attachment is attached to the implants, joining all the implants together, and clips are embedded in the interior surface of the overdenture. In bar, we have header bar and roller bar. So I would like to call upon Dr. Sheetal for the third case presentation for today.
Good afternoon everyone. I will be presenting the third case report on implant supported overdenture with ball and socket attachments. Coming to the case history of the patient, a patient named Kanta Devi Sharma of age 62 years female residing in Mansarovar, Jaipur, by occupation housewife and by personality class 1, reported to the department with a chief complaint of difficulty in chewing food due to missing teeth since 4 months and wanted replacement. Patient has been completely edentulous since 4 months and teeth were gradually lost due to periodontal disease. On general physical examination, it was found that the patient was averagely built, well nourished, her height was 158 cm and weight was 65 kg. On examination, blood pressure was 125 by 78 mmHg and pulse was 70 beats per minute. Patient had no relevant history of tobacco, smoking, alcohol or parafunctional habits, and no relevant history of systemic disease was reported. Patient had undergone few extractions 4 months ago. On extraoral examination, it was found that the facial form of the patient was ovoid, facial profile was convex, muscle tone was normal, lip support was reduced due to missing teeth, and vertical dimension was reduced. The chin was prominent as it is commonly seen in edentulous patient due to loss of vertical dimension. On further intraoral examination, it was found that both the maxillary and mandibular arches were completely edentulous. Her arch form was ovoid, mucosa was pale pink, the classification for lateral throat form was class 2, palatal sensitivity was class 1, and jaw relation was class 2. Further, maxillary and mandibular ridges both were well rounded with Atwood's order 3 classification. For further evaluation, a pre-operative radiograph was taken and it was found that both the maxillary and mandibular arch were edentulous and adequate bone was seen in mandibular arch. Further, a diagnostic JR was done and an inter-arch space was evaluated, which was found to be 11 mm in this case. So the diagnosis of the patient on the basis of evaluation was completely edentulous in respect to maxillary and mandibular arch with well-rounded ridge with class 2 jaw relation. So my question to the audience is, what should be the treatment plan based on the history?
Complete denture with respect to maxillary and mandibular arch.
Or we can give implant supported overdenture.
Yes, there can be n number of treatment plans. Three type of treatment options were given to the patient. First treatment plan was conventional complete denture for both the arches. For treatment plan 2, conventional complete denture in respect to maxillary arch and implant overdenture in respect to mandibular arch. For treatment plan 3, implant retained fixed prosthesis, that is for the both maxillary and mandibular arch. Since patient desired of well-fitting denture, so mandibular overdenture was planned as according to McGill consensus, which was stated by Dr. Shweta, that 2-implant overdenture is first choice standard of care for the elderly patient, and the patient was convinced to proceed with treatment after understanding the functional benefits, improved comfort and affordability of the implant overdenture, which we in our department are offering at a subsidized price of rupees 15,000. So implant overdenture was decided, and treatment plan 1 and treatment plan 3 was ruled out. For the finalized treatment plan for the maxillary arch, conventional complete denture was decided, and for the mandibular arch, implant overdenture with 2 implants placed in B and D position, that is the OD1 option, was decided. Attachment system plan was ball attachment, as we have evaluated that the interarch space was 11 mm. The reason for choosing B and D position was as it provides good antero-posterior spread, it provides better stress distribution, it improves the retention and stability, and also avoids mental foramen region. Further, the case was further impressions were made in the conventional manner, and Facebook record and jaw relation was done, and the trying of waxed up dentures was done, after which aesthetics, phonetics and occlusion were evaluated. Further, the denture insertion was done with all the final adjustments. Since a prosthetically driven implant planning was done, so 5 radiographic markers at position A, B, C, D, E were placed on the mandibular denture, and CBCT was done while wearing the denture. Further, the bone dimensions were assessed in NNT viewer, and implants were planned at B and D position. A crastotomy of 2 mm was planned to place the implants on the same level. iFix implants of size 4 by 11.5 mm were selected for both the implants. Further, the blood investigations was done for the patient, in which it was found that the hemoglobin was 12.3 gram per dl, her bleeding time was 2 minutes 30 seconds, clotting time was 3 minutes 45 seconds, which were all normal. Her HbA1c was 5.3%, HbS-Ag and HIV was negative. For the implant surgery, under local anesthesia, pilot drills were done with the denture to place the implants in predetermined position, and after removing the denture, a full thickness mucoperiosteal flap was reflected. Implants were placed in the planned mandibular B and D position following sequential osteotomy preparation. A primary stability of 35 NCM was achieved, and the surgical site was sutured to allow proper healing and osseointegration. Some of the post-surgical instructions given to the patient after the surgery was to take the antibiotics and analgesics, to apply ice packs intermittently for the first 24 hours, to use chlorhexidine mouthwash twice daily, to eat soft, cool foods for the first few days, and to avoid hot, spicy and hard foods. Patient was recalled after 7 days for the suture removal, and after 7 days patient was instructed to wear the denture for 3 months. Just after the surgery, it was seen that the implants were placed at the same level and at predetermined position. Then a 3 months post-operative radiograph was taken, which demonstrates that 2 implants in satisfactory position with maintained peri-implant bone levels and no evidence of peri-implant radiolucency, indicating osseointegration. Implant stability was checked using resonance frequency analysis, and it was found that the implant stability quotient was 72. For the second stage surgery, after successful osseointegration, under local anesthesia, implant was exposed with tissue punch, cover screw was removed, and ball attachments of 3 mm cuff height were connected to the implants. Further, the denture was relieved, spacer was placed on the attachment, and the attachment housings were picked up intraorally through the direct technique. Holes in the denture were filled using auto-polymerizing resin, and overdenture insertion was done with all the final adjustments. These are the pre-treatment and post-treatment pictures of the patient. There are some common set of instructions which are given to both tooth and implant supported overdentures for immediately after the insertion. There can be mild discomfort, pressure, increased salivation for a few days, and that is normal. Patients are asked to speak slowly, and practice reading aloud to adapt to the dentures. Patients are asked to start with soft foods and chew on both sides simultaneously. Avoid very hard, sticky or excessively hot foods initially and remove and clean the denture after every meal. After few weeks of insertion, patients are asked to brush the denture using a soft denture brush and non-abrasive cleanser. For cleaning of attachments, a nylon tub brush are used. For the night instructions, patients are instructed to remove the overdenture at night and store the denture in clean water when not in use. Some of the commercially available denture cleansing agents are like Polident, Cleansodent. For the maintenance of overdentures, we can apply fluoride application on abutment with no coping, and worn out attachments need to be changed as they are bound to elasticity. Relining of overdentures can be done after few years, and for the maintenance, long-term recall and follow-ups are required. Coming to the discussion, for now we have discussed 3 different cases with 3 different situations, and all treatment modalities has its own advantage. If we see the scientific data, according to a systematic review by Sunil Mishra, implant overdentures significantly improve patient satisfaction, retention, stability, comfort, speech and chewing efficiency, and thus oral health related quality of life compared to conventional complete denture. According to Lewis et al. In a study concluded that overdenture patients showed significantly better masticatory performance compared to complete denture patients. According to a systematic review by Solianos, similar result was found. According to a systematic review by Ahmed et al., it was concluded that implant overdentures retained by unsplinted implants had better efficacy, satisfaction and quality of life compared to the conventional denture. According to Ronald, implant-supported overdenture performed better than root-supported overdenture based on the survival rate, but at the same time it is more expensive. According to Robert et al., in his 5-year study, concluded that there is less bone loss in overdenture patients when compared to conventional denture. So for the take-home message, overdentures bridge the gap between conventional dentures and fixed implant prostheses, offering a predictable, cost-effective and patient-centered solution for the edentulous and partially edentulous patient. But it requires meticulous planning and execution. Evidence suggests that tooth and implant-supported overdentures preserve alveolar bone in the region of abutment and implant and improve masticatory efficiency, retention, stability and thus oral health related quality of life. Thank you. Now the house is open for the questions.